and I needed this week. I had a
What is up, everybody? I just cut Jason off mid sentence whenever I started.
It's fine.
uh,
I'm used to it. I've been married for almost 30 years, Brian. It's good.
oh yeah, yeah.
What's
I'm not
happening,
that
everybody?
anymore.
Yeah, right.
So what?
Figured that one out.
Well,
Oh shit,
working on it. So what you been up to,
man.
Jason?
Not much. We went on vacation. I turned 50 2 weeks ago. We were in Las Vegas, and then we went camping last weekend with our grandkids. We do it once a year, so just trying to get caught up from that. And then work's been a hot mess. There's only been two of us running that shop. Literally, I have to do everything. Bring customers in, write estimates, make phone calls, bill them out, and work on cars. And I got this green kid working with me, and it's been my week. So, how's your week been? And everybody wonders why I drink.
My week's been all right. Just
How's it good?
my ass at work, and then Thursday I woke up, and as soon as I got out of bed, I got a problem with my feet and my legs.
Yeah.
I got up and I was like, "Oh, that hurts really bad." As soon as I got out of bed, I was like, "If I go to work today, I'm not gonna make it."
Yeah, Megan. Yeah.
So
That's
I
when
had
you
to
had.
call.
That's when you had anal glaucoma.
Yeah. I had to go and I had to get on your live, and I was like,
Yeah, exactly.
Then I got to hang out with Dennis yesterday. We went down south. He was selling some parts, and we got
Did
to
you?
hang
That's
out.
cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
Heck yeah. So
There's
you live
been a
up.
trip.
Oh, yeah. You live up close to Gateway, don't you?
Yeah, I'm like
Yeah.
here. From here, I'm probably 15 minutes away.
Okay.
From my shop, I'm like 10 minutes away.
Got you. Yeah, we've got. Well, actually, I went over for about an hour today. Our local track, which is about 15 minutes from here, the Southeast Gassers were here this weekend. Those
Yeah.
things are so badass, man. You want to talk about loud, violent, you know, all motor machines, manual transmission. And these guys have got to have a set between their legs as big as bowling balls. Let me tell you, because they don't lift. They just let it
I'd
go.
like to do something like that. I want to
Yeah,
build something crazy on my own.
I've always wanted
I
a.
haven't figured out. I'm going to find something wicked, crazy, old school.
mm, I I want a straight axle car, and I think I want to do an old Falcon. I want to do an early Falcon straight axle car. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, that'd be cool. You said
Yeah,
you were a Ford guy anyway, right?
yeah. I started bracket racing back in '94. I had a Fox body Mustang. I don't know if I have the picture in here of it or not, but I did pretty good with it. I raced it all the way until 2011. The kids started getting older and getting into sports and marching band, and we were just, all over the country traveling. And well, my son graduated in 2020, so since then is when that's when I started my YouTube stuff, and then I started building. I don't think I started building the S10 yet, but I was building something else that I didn't finish. I can't even remember what the hell it was, to be honest with you. It was a C10. It was a full size Chevy truck, and just somebody offered me stupid money for it, and I got rid of it. So I kind of wish I didn't, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I like. I had. Hell, I went through like 3 or 4 projects before I got this Duster, and one of them actually was a 70 something C10 short bed step side. But
Yeah,
yeah, I like I like step side trucks. Like
yeah.
if I hold on to this truck I got, I'm going to find a step side bed for it.
My
Just
uncle back in like '79 or '80 bought a brand new Dodge D150 step side with a slant six, and it had the manual transmission. I don't know what it was, but man, I loved riding around that truck. I was like 7 when he bought it. I kind of wish I would have got that truck, but when he passed away, his daughter took it, but she still has it. So man, I always tell her, like, hey, you want to get rid of Uncle Steve's truck? I'll come get it. I don't care what shape it's in, you know. But yeah, it was that was kind of one of my favorites. My first slant six stuff, and he always liked inline engines. Like he had a Falcon with a straight six that he drag raced, and he had a Nova with a straight six, and then he bought the truck. He welded this big bar on the shifter, man. He shifted it like way up here. He was a welder. It was crazy. And he'd wind that thing up so it wouldn't have it. He's
There's
good
a
dude.
thing I want for the. I don't know if it's going to go in the satellite or in the Duster or in both. There's a company, Kilduff Fabrication or something. They make a lightning rod shifter that'll go on anything.
Really? That's
Yeah,
interesting.
and they work real good on overdrive transmissions because they end up with they got a one shifter down here that actually works, goes from park to down to first or whatever.
Yeah.
But like you put it in first gear and then you pull this one shifter and you go to second. Pull the next one, you go to third or
Third. Yeah.
third, and then
The other one
they
for
got a third
overdrive.
shifter. They look really good with three shifters up there.
So it's
I'd
like
like to get one.
you got an old school Linko setup in there or something.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, the guy shows it. He sits there and he shifts the damn thing, hitting it with a baseball bat. So to show how strong they are. He's got it mounted
Yeah.
to something, and he'll pull that thing back into first and just pow, pow, pow. And I know that now, see,
It's a
because
faux Linko.
the Chrysler overdrives, they don't have a like the Chevy ones. They don't have a fourth
A
gear.
D10. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, um, Coke actually makes a valve body with the D10 in it for the fourth.
Oh, okay. Because
gear,
like
so.
my Cummins, my truck, you have to push the button on the shifter to take it out of overdrive. Yeah. So he makes one with that's cool with 4D10s. That guy can freaking make anything, can he?
Oh man, he's pretty amazing as far as
I
that
saw
goes.
the valve body made for Andy for that 4-speed Ford transmission. I'm like, dude, this is gonna be.
Yeah,
He's gonna make a lot of money with that thing because people are really gonna want to use that transmission because that's a good transmission. You know.
it'd be neat if he made a bunch of money off of it because then that would be a direct connection to this community helping him out. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I think
Instead of
I
what we
think
used to do and just sit there and bug him all the time on with transmission.
yeah, exactly. I think this community has definitely opened a lot of eyes, and I mean, we help each other out. Sending each other parts, and you know, sending each other information, or like Dr. Art worked on that computer for me to make my fuel injection engine run on a carburetor. Like, I would have never
You would
known
have
where
had
to start.
somebody. You would have had to look around on online and find somebody. Probably pay some astronomical fee to have them
Yes,
do that.
and be lucky it damn worked when I got it.
Yeah.
But man, I'll tell you, I hooked that thing up and it just instant, like night and day. Like this thing's, I thought the engine was screwed up to tell you the truth because I never had heard it run. I bought it.
I just watched the video of that thing running again. Rewatched it
Mm,
because somebody's like me and hadn't put a video out in a month.
yeah,
I don't know. I think the lives are enough, right? Because you do your life.
yeah. I get so far. My problem is by the time, but I got ADD, so I'm doing one project, and then I was like, okay, it's time to work on the truck. I don't have my phone with me, or if I do, I just forget to turn it on. You know, I need to concentrate in the next couple weeks and just sit down and do a real long video and go over everything I've done to the truck because, pardon me, there's a lot of stuff I've done that nobody even knows what I've done. And
Oh yeah. Well, that's like my last video. If you look at my last video, yeah, it didn't get shit for views. I knew it wouldn't because
right.
I was like, hey, look, we got the rear end done, and it's like, hey, look, it's in the car. Bye, guys. You know.
Yeah, yeah, right. That's how I feel about mine. I'm kind of just like, here's what's going on. You know, actually, I need to make a video of what I need to get done, and then maybe that'll get my ass in gear to get it done.
Well, tomorrow we're gonna. I got my dad gonna go out to the shop with me tomorrow, and the kids. I'm gonna clean up the shop and have them clean it up on the shop and teach one of them. I got to teach one of them how to pump the pedal to bleed brakes. You know.
Yeah.
You remember that? You remember learning that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hold the damn flashlight still. Yeah, I remember that one.
Hey, man. I mean, I don't know if everybody's dad's the same as mine, but I remember being so scared. I'm like, man, I don't want to screw nothing up. I don't want to screw nothing up. Exactly what he said. Bump and now hold it and okay. And
he'd take this flashlight and thump you right on the head with it. That's what he would do. That's what my dad would do. He might not do it now, but he would back then.
I wish my dad was as. Right now, he's just really chill. He'll work on stuff. That's what he does. He's still.
Yeah, my dad's pretty laid back.
Still goes to work every day, you know.
Yeah, my dad's 73, works every day, and he's got a really cool '67 Camaro drag car. It was actually my backup car for a long time when the Mustang would break, and it being a Ford, it broke a lot, you know. And we're trying to get it back going again. It's a real pretty car too. And
yeah, we were talking about that Thursday.
Yeah. It's
like a pro stock.
It's more like a super stock car. It's a small tire, just stock suspension. Well, not stock suspension, I should say. We put ladder bars on it and coilovers, but the front suspension's the same. We put front disc brakes on it. It's got a 400 small block. That's what it started out as. I don't know what exactly it is now, and then in my garage, we've got all the parts to build a 421-inch small block. So I mean, it'll be nasty, but Dad's not worried about it anymore because he's like, I can't even drive the damn thing anymore. He just wants to get it running so we can drive it. But yeah, he's a body man. He's done frame and body work, forever, and he goes to work every day still because he's like, you remember what happened to your grandpa when he retired?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's kind of what I worry about with my dad because he really don't have no hobbies.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm
into this shit. When I retire, that's probably just what I'm going to do is just go straight into, okay, I got my shop. Start doing stuff. Yeah. I'll be doing YouTube when I'm 70. Watch.
And I think that'll probably be what happens. Rob and I are going to get a shop here eventually, and then we'll probably have Dad at our shop just farting around, hey, Dad, why don't you fix this for us, or whatever. He'll be fine with it. Give him something to do, and then he doesn't have to, worry about going to a job,
See, now that would be cool. I think if like, because all these YouTubers like me and everything, your title is garage, but if YouTube would actually get a shop, you'd actually be one with a garage.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the thing is, if you really wanted to, because I was thinking about doing this at mine, you could set it up with cameras at certain angles where you could just, boom, I'm filming the whole day today, and then you can just be like, okay, then we go back and we cut.
Yeah, and cut it all out. Yeah. I think that's kind of what Cletus does. Like, he's got, if you notice, he can put out 3 or 4 videos a day, and I think what it is he has somebody in that shop. Like, every car is in a certain, progress, and it's like, well, he's over here, and then he's talking to his welder guy, and then Sam's over here cleaning stuff up, and it's like I think that's what he does. But I mean, because they have a nice size shop, they get a bazillion cars in there, Yeah, my channel name came from actually where I used to work. The guy next door owned a drive-through, And I used to
Mhm.
actually work on his car at night. After he would close, I would go into his drive-through, close the drive-through doors, and work on his car for him in his drive-through. And him and his
Oh,
wife, yeah. Then him and his wife went down to Gatlinburg, and they bought me this sign that says Jason's Garage on it. So
huh.
it's actually screwed to the side of my truck right now. But
Oh, wait a minute. Now you're talking about a drive-through, like, is it like a drive-through convenience store? I've seen
yeah, I know.
because
It's
we
it's
don't
it's
have. I've
common,
seen
right?
a
You guys
few.
don't have them out, yeah,
Yeah, we don't have them.
yeah.
But it's
I think
like it's neat. From the one I seen was like it's like looks like a garage,
mm-hmm.
and then you drive through the
Yep,
bay. You tell the people what you want, they
yep,
give it to you, and you drive out the other end.
yeah. I always forget that's like an East
I was
Coast
like,
thing.
oh
Like,
man,
yeah,
I wonder if they let you open. Now we used to have a couple of liquor stores that had that where you could just drive up to the window
mm-hmm.
and get what you want. But
Yeah.
I seen what video was that?
There's drive-throughs everywhere in Ohio, man. I think
Hmm.
it's I think once you get past Indiana, Illinois, that it's just not a thing. For some reason, it's not a thing. Maybe it's too well. It gets colder and shit here and hot too. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. But yeah, I always remember people are like, man, you drive through the house and get beer.
Yeah.
You know? They think it's the coolest thing since sliced bread. You know, it's like hell, we've had those here for ever. You know.
How did you get your start doing YouTube? What made you like be like, oh hey, I'm gonna start filming shit?
Well, I started watching YouTube back in when it first came out in like 2008, and I posted one video. Didn't even have a channel yet. It was just numbers or whatever, or my email, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And it got a few views, and then I was so busy. In 2008 was when, like I said, when everything took off with the kids and everything. And then, everybody was constantly like, man, you know a lot about cars. You should be doing, more of this stuff, and filming what you're doing at work and letting me. So then COVID happened, and 3 days before they shut everything down, it was right before St. Patrick's Day 2020. I had
Mm-hmm.
actually switched jobs because year before that I had hernia surgery. No, I'm sorry. In 2018, I had hernia surgery, and they like to kill me. They nicked my bowel. I was in the hospital for like 3 months. The whole summer I was off, and
Oh man.
I couldn't do anything. I had no energy, no strength. I weighed 178 pounds. It was bad. They didn't even know if I was going to make it.
Hmm.
And yeah, I'll tell you the whole story more, no names. But so I had to take a job that was a little bit slower, and then that's when I took a job working for our county department here, where I live, the county I live in, and I started the job, and 3 days later is when they shut everything down. So they put us off work 3 weeks at a time. So they worked half of us 3 weeks, and then the other half 3 weeks to keep us away from each other.
Yeah.
And I was at home just bored out of my mind, and I had side work I was doing here at the house because I was getting back to where I was okay. And I started filming, videos of doing timing belt jobs and brake jobs and wheel bearings and that sort of thing. And then Rob and I putting an engine together. And yeah, you're right, John. Do not retire. And and that's kind of where it started. So I started doing cars, just normal car stuff, and then I decided, well, I want to start, doing some hot rod stuff because I've built, you know, 4 or 5 race cars over the years and they've done pretty well. But then I've gotten busy again. It sucks, but you know, but it's fun. I like doing it. I think that the best thing that's happened to YouTube since I started is this, where we can be on the screen together. How many other
Yeah.
guys we can get in here? We can talk. We can cut up. We can throw ideas back and forth to each other. Like when that happened, I thought, man, this is going to be a big deal. You know, and
Oh yeah,
like I
I love
said,
it.
and that's when I've really made a lot of friends all over the country that I would have never met before ever. I mean, I wouldn't have known who you are. You wouldn't have known who I was. So I
Uh-uh.
think, like I said, it's it's been a good thing. I think I got everybody says, yeah, you should have done it back in 2008, and it's like, no, I think I got it. I think I'm at the right time because I
I,
feel like the
I
guys that
wish
got in
I
back in
started mine during.
2008, I feel like the guys that started out real early and are successful, they're like untouchable now. You can't talk to them. You can't get them to come in on your live. Like I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys watch Street Outlaws stuff, like
Oh yeah.
Disco Dean, Stinky Pinky. Like he's from our hometown. I bracket race with him and his dad both. Like eventually, one of these days, we're going to get him on a live. Well, actually, where I just left to eating dinner, he goes there to eat dinner a lot. It's like our favorite place around here. And I've seen him in there a
Hmm.
couple. I was like, we're going to corner Dino next time he's there. Like, dude, you need to get on one of our lives in the winter. When they're off, because right now they're so busy, so busy.
Yeah, he seems like a cool guy.
He is. He's freaking great, man. He's he's a funny guy. Let me tell you what. I
Yeah,
mean, he is. He will crack
I
you
really like
up.
him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish I'd have started during COVID. It seems like if you had a YouTube channel during COVID, it could just blow up because people were.
It was really competitive during COVID. I think.
But then I had to work all through COVID. It sucked. I was essential or
Yeah.
sacrificial.
Well, I was essential. I was essential, but you know, like I said, they put us off for 3 weeks at a time. That only lasted for like I don't know. That probably lasted till like May or June, and it was just weird because I didn't even know. Like for a year, I didn't even get to talk personally to the people that even were like the people that wrote my checks, my boss. I just saw them in like Zoom meetings and talked to them on the phone. Like it was just that was a weird time, but like I said, it was real competitive. I think in YouTube at that time,
Hmm.
and
Well, the thing was, I mean, I could see it. I don't know how competitive it actually because I mean, people just had nothing better to do. I remember when I actually got COVID and was off for a week. I was like, I ran out of shit to watch on YouTube. It's like, oh my god,
yeah,
how
yeah,
do you
yeah,
do this for a fucking year?
yeah,
Or
yeah.
people
Well,
still doing it?
some people never came back to work at the building. They still work from home. Like
There's
this,
still
I
people that
I'm
haven't
sorry,
left their fucking house.
nope, they have not
I'm
fucking
like,
left their house.
man, you're just gonna
Yeah,
die there.
yeah, yeah. They're just
You
gonna
got,
scoop you up.
yeah, there's people that are scared of that shit. I mean, and I had it. It was bad. It sucked, but
I
I
I
got
got
over
it.
it.
It was like the flu, man. It wasn't that It's like I think it was
Mine
a
hit me.
distraction, but
I must have got it bad because mine hit me. I was at the shop working. I was like, boy, I'm starting to feel like shit. Started driving home. Came home. As soon as I got in the door, fell on the couch, like with my shoes on. Woke up like
mm,
3 or 4 hours later, and I was just done. I was like, oh
yeah,
shit.
yeah. That's what happened to me. I slept for
I
like
was like, go
27
get me one
hours.
of those tests. I was like, go get me one of those tests. I took that test. It was positive. It's like, fuck, okay. Yeah, it was really bad. But 3 days, 3 days
Yeah,
I was fine.
yeah. I remember being sick like that when I was a kid from the flu. You know, and it was like,
I never
well,
really got sick like that
like
ever,
once you get it, you're immune to it. And I don't know. It's all a
or
bunch of
more
hooey, but
immune to it, whatever. But I really don't care if you
nah,
get it. If I
I
get
know.
it again,
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's like everybody makes what's going on over here. Let's see.
Yeah, I know. What do we got? Who's that? Jack stands in cinder blocks. I don't think I've ever seen him before.
Yeah, he pops in lives every now and again. I got to hold on just a second, Brian. I got to let that dog back in. She's
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
sorry, brother.
No big deal. Got Mr. Don English in here. One of our great no-name national stories. Don and Ron and Wendy. Well, we got the whole English clan in here. What's up, guys? World of Wood Chips, Turbo Tom. Oh, I can hear myself through Jason's shit. Oh, Backwoods Performance, Dennis and Brian. Dennis Twisted Mopar Garage, Backwoods Performance, Brian. What's up? What's up? Unfinished project. Oh, and Dean. Dean's in here. You know, you can't have a live without Dean anymore. It's almost like you're waiting around for him.
Oh, he's the brother from down under. Ron said something a minute ago. Ron English said that Don was my first. Don was in my first live. It was hilarious. Like I was doing lives. I, the lives I first started watching was Uncle Tony's lives, probably back in I don't know
Yeah.
whenever he started, 2018 probably. You know, he'd
Yeah.
have.
That's where a lot of us come from.
Yeah, it is. It is. It
We're
really is. Yeah, and you know he'd have 30, 40 people in there. You could comment back and forth over here in the comments.
Mhm.
You know, and he'd see some of it, and Kathy would see some of it. And like I said, I apologize, guys that are in the chat if I missed stuff. It's just because me and Brian are talking, and it's kind of
Oh yeah, I have a
Yeah.
hard time watching chat in general, but on these I
Yeah.
usually just
Yeah,
stick
and
with us. And if I see
it's
something over there,
yeah, if it's difficult, you know, but so yeah, so then I started doing it. Well, when I got to, and back then you had to have 1,000 subscribers to start going live. You know, now you don't have to
yeah.
have fucking any. You know,
Well,
and
the thing was, though, see, everybody was telling me that when I started, and I looked, and it's like, oh, go live. You had back then, you had to have 1,000 if you wanted to go live from like a phone.
that's what it
Everybody
was. Yeah,
knew the difference
yeah,
between your phone and your computer.
yeah, and yeah, and I can remember just it was just being Don. Don would be bouncing questions off of me about his car. You know, what? Hey, I got this problem with it. You know, and yeah, and he was like the first. He was the first one to ever comment on a video. He was the first one ever to live. Uh, he was the first one to ever send me a super chat. So I mean, it was pretty cool. You know, Don
I
really
haven't,
did
I
that for
haven't
me.
got one
So
of them yet. I'm working towards it. I haven't got one of them super chats yet.
yeah,
They just did a thing where now you only have to have 500 subscribers and 3,000 watch time hours, and you have to put up video out at least every 30 days or something, or 3 videos every 90 days, something like that.
got ya. Yeah, they
You can
changed it
actually
up.
get super chats and everything
Yeah.
like that. So
How many subscribers do you have? I'm sorry, I haven't even
I
been
am at
paying.
854.
Okay.
Here's what will happen after this live. If I do a video this week, I'll do this live, my next live, and a video.
Mm-hmm.
I will pick up two. I will be up to 856.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then next week, I would have lost either one or two of those. I can't get past the 854, 855.
So
You know,
I was when we went to No Names last year, I was at almost I think I was at almost 3,000, like real close. And then
yeah,
after No Names, it went like to 3,100. And then after the first of the year, it just plummeted, went all the way down to like 2,900 or 2,800 or something. And then now it's finally back up to 3,100. There's no rhyme or reason. I've made a shitload of videos. I've made a ton of shorts, you know, and there for a while, shorts would get you a lot.
yeah.
And lately I've noticed that it's kind of plateaued to where it's like, you know,
I think they're doing less with the shorts now.
they
I,
are
I think when they first started out, they're like, yeah, we're going to make a ton of money off this. And then they
right.
realize, oh, we're not making
Nope.
any money off this.
No, they realize that TikTok's who is making the money off the shorts, not YouTube. YouTube makes money off of long form. So, yeah.
Well, and that's kind of the thing, too. It's like me and Dennis were talking about for No Name. We were talking on the drive home yesterday. And we're like, he was like, well, do you think that John's going to raise the threshold up to 1,000 next year? And I'm like, probably not. I don't think he will.
No, if he wants new blood in there, he's going to have to keep it at 500.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean, that's
because
my opinion.
it's like it'd be really hard in 9 months, basically from when he normally announces till the race to build 1,000 subscriber
It
channel.
is. It took me a long time to get to 1,000. I mean, I'm saying probably a year and a half at least, and that was me grinding every day. You know, working on the SEO, working on the the keywords and all that. And honestly, I don't even do that shit anymore.
I never paid attention, but then again, I still, like I said, I
Yeah,
say in every video, I don't give a fuck. I'm
yeah,
doing this.
yeah. I honestly, when I started doing it, I thought, man, I might actually be able to make a living doing this, and then I realized, no, but I totally enjoy the camaraderie, like
Mhm.
like you and JB and Jack Stans and
I
ASO
think
and all these guys.
a lot of people get into it thinking, "Oh yeah, I'm going to do this for a living, or I'm going to make some extra money." No, you're not. But the people that
No,
stick with it are the ones that actually, oh, okay, this is fun.
yeah.
It doesn't matter.
If I didn't have a house to take care of and my regular job, and I don't even know if you saw that I'm actually starting my own business, my own mobile RV repair business. I put a post up a couple weeks ago, so I'm working on that, and yeah, it's crazy, and we camp a lot, so
Yeah,
because my wife works a lot, she works at the hospital, and so it's like
I
we got to
almost
get.
wonder because there's a lot of these videos about camping and shit.
hmm There's
You
a
could
few,
probably start a second channel.
yeah, there's a few camping channels that do really well. I think I would probably do really good once I start working on the RVs and showing that,
Mhm.
because there's not a lot of it right now yet, you know.
Yeah,
But there again, my problem is I got a one track mind. I'll be reading a wiring diagram and trying to figure out what's going on, and then think, oh crap, I don't have my camera
yeah.
on. But for everybody in the chat that wants to get subscribers and watch time, turn this damn watch that. Turn this thing on. Turn this thing on and turn this thing on, because that's what you need to make.
What kind of GoPro you got there?
This is, and I am not a GoPro fan, just so you know. I think this is a
Oh,
Hero 7. This has been the only one that hasn't burned up on me yet. So one
I have
thing,
the 10 is pretty awesome.
is the 10 good? Okay.
Yeah,
So
I've
I
never
want the
had it
one that I want the
overheated
one
on
that
it.
has I want the one that has the lenses on both sides, the 360.
Yep,
Have you seen those? I think that's
that's
the next one I'm going to buy. But me and NSB were talking one night, and he's had problems with GoPros. Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
but yeah,
Is that the
mine's got
light on the
a
front of it, or is that a screen on the
huh?
front? Is that a light on the front or a screen on the front?
The what?
Is that a light on the front or a screen on the front? It's hard to tell. It's like
That's a
blurred.
screen on the
Oh, it's
front. Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So it's got two screens. That's cool. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And
Well,
this,
that's like this one, just with a screen on the front.
if you ever start doing this, if you ever start doing stuff, this is going to be horrible in a
Thanks,
podcast, Mark.
John.
That's all right. If you ever start like using your GoPro, hit
hmm
this little guy right here, this
Oh
clip.
yeah, yeah, right.
You can clip this thing to anything. I turn it up like this and can use it just like a selfie stick, and it sits flat.
On the ground. Oh yeah, on the table. Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
it's like I got it with a big. You buy those big bundles of crap,
Yeah,
and you don't
yeah,
use any of the crap out of it. Well, this is the one piece of crap that I used.
yeah. I got a bunch of it in this drawer down here, but NSB and I were talking one night on somebody's live about them, and they live down in Florida where it's hotter than anything. And he says that he's noticed that he thinks the batteries get hot and they swell up and they kill the camera.
Yeah,
So I've been working with this one, but I've been keeping it in the shade when I can, and it's been doing pretty good so far. So,
I've
and I
never
actually
had.
had lost it. I actually lost it for a year, and what happened was I have a still photo camera. I have a really nice Nikon setup with all the. It's in a backpack. Well, I had stuck that in
Mhm.
the backpack, and so when my daughter graduated from university up north, we went up there to do stuff, and I was like, "Oh, look what I found!" It's got this big stick thing on it, but I have it now, so I need to charge it up. Matter of fact, I'm gonna plug it in right now. I might
So,
charge it tomorrow.
let's see. So you say you are a drag racer from a while back. You've
I
been
am a drag racer from early '90s. My dad raced back in the '70s. Um, some guys when I started working on cars, they were racers. I'd just go out and hang out and pit crew with them, and that's kind of where I learned how to work on carburetors and farting around with timing and setting up suspensions and stuff.
So what's your local track out there? Because I know from what I hear, Ohio's got a lot of tracks.
We do. My local track is in a town called Xenia, Ohio. It's called Kilcare Dragway.
Okay, I've actually heard of that.
Yeah, they have a real nice quarter-mile track. It's really good for running 8th mile. Problem is the shutdown area goes right into the Little Miami River, so we don't have a whole lot of shutdown area. But they redid it about 10 years ago, and it's all concrete. And I mean, it's one of the nastiest hooking tracks there are. But the only track I have ever been to that hooks better than this one is Sikeston, to be totally honest with you. Sikeston starting line was a beat.
See that's been the word around this area for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. That starting line is
car to run a 10th faster.
Yeah.
If you want your car to run a 10th faster, take it to Sikeston.
Yeah, that starting line is wicked. Yeah, I will be totally honest with you. But yeah, we've got. John, we have two.
Question.
Go ahead,
Have you ever run at that track with the crazy uphill shutdown? What is the name of that track?
Oh, KD. Yeah. Well, I've been to KD. Yeah, we used to bracket race over KD.
I want to run that. I want to run at that track once.
Yeah, that's an 8th mile, and right at the 8th mile, it's weird. Right at the finish line, there's a dip down, and then the hill goes straight up. And then there used to be a track down in south of me, down on the west side of Cincinnati. It was called Tri-State, and it had grass growing down the middle. The lanes were divided by grass, so that was bad. I've seen guys go down the middle and spin out. But then down the shutdowns, like as soon as you shut down, you had to come together, and you had about a lane and a half. And if you didn't slow down in time, you were in the cornfields. It was crazy. But then there's another one down.
Oh, go ahead.
There's another one down in Cincinnati called Edgewater, and it's an airstrip during the week. And dude, that shutdown is a mile long. I swear it is. Like I've never even been all the way down to the end of it.
You were naming all these tracks. See, I watch Street Racing Channel and
SRC. Yeah, Bill. I've bracket raced with Bill a couple times.
I'm like, man, I want to go there. I want to go there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they live at National Trails is in Columbus, which is in central Ohio, and they literally live there. So when they used to run the national event at National Trails, when they'd run the fuel dragster, they'd have to shut. There's a road down at the end of the track. It's called Refugee Road. They had to close that off, so the dragsters had room to go over the top and road and go into the shutdown area. Well, he lives down there on Refugee Road, which they don't run the spring nationals there anymore. They used to. And then we've got up northern Ohio, up around Cedar Point. You've probably heard of Cedar Point Amusement Park. I'm sure we got Norwalk, which is Summit Motorsports Park, where they have the big race now. And actually they had the division bracket finals there now. We used to go over to Indy, which was really fun to go to, but now they do it. But Bill Bader owns that one. And he takes care of his racers up there. And his track's nice too. And but we have a lot of drag strips. I mean, I can drive an hour radius and probably hit between Indiana and Ohio and Kentucky, probably 15 really nice tracks.
I've got 5 within a 2-hour radius of me.
Yeah, the Gateway that's a badass complex. I like going to Gateway. We went there for some bracket racing years ago.
Yeah, I joke. I've been joking around with Wilburn saying that No Name's going to get big enough. He's going to have to rent out Gateway.
That would be freaking sweet, dude. I come stay with you that week, that's for sure.
Big enough that we had enough people to fill it. Anyway, Jesus.
That would be cool, wouldn't it? I think it could be done eventually once the word gets out and the popularity gets out, the camaraderie gets out that,
Well,
not a
and
bunch
you
of
know,
ego dudes.
I've heard mixed reviews about the old man. That he can be cool or he can be an asshole, but I'm like, well, that's anybody, you know.
Well, you got to understand where he's coming from. His kids are his number one priority, and he wants to keep them safe. And a lot of guys want to get up, like when he's up there with them on the starting line, and he's especially when he's backing them up. Do not get in his way. Don't tell him what way to turn the car because he's going to kick your ass. He knows what he needs to do, and he really does. He knows what he needs to do. And back when we were bracket racing, back when I was, I remember going to the bracket finals over in Indy, and he ran for National Trails, and we ran for Killcare. Like, he was a bad hombre. I mean, he knows his shit, and he's really good at working on stuff. But, yeah, just don't get in the way. When he's taking care of his kids, just forget it. And when he's working on the car, don't come over there and bother him, which I don't want anybody fucking with me when I'm working on a car either, But he's super smart guy. Super smart guy. And if you know him, he's a really good guy.
I'm actually hoping one year that No Name gets big enough that it gets in his ear, because I think that would be just the kind of thing just for him. They can come out, they can sell merch, He ain't worried about making money. That's the thing I try to explain to some people. It's like, if you watch a lot of street racing channel, Billy doesn't win that often.
Mm-hmm.
But every event he goes to, he's making money.
Oh, yeah.
They drove all the way out to Ozark Dragway. That's past me like 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee that he made money off the videos that he did. And between the two of them, he made a video, his dad made a video, his brother made a video. You can't tell me that those three didn't.
Oh, yeah, they've got, collectively they probably have,
that whole family
million subscribers. Yeah. But he came up, he used to work his ass off, though. Until just recently, he worked his ass off.
When he first started his channel, half of his videos, the first half would be him going out running the equipment, and then the other half was him doing stuff with the cars.
And dude,
I kind of miss that, because that was kind of a neat.
Years ago, they gave him some bad blueprints, and he was digging a trench, and he hit a fucking gas line, and burnt his ass up like bad, and he came back from it. He's a beast, and he's a good dude. He probably wouldn't know me from Adam, but I've spoke to him years ago. Well, here's a good story for you. Hunter graduated in 2020 during all the COVID shit, and he wanted to go to U.S. Nationals. So he and I hooked my trailer up, and we went over to U.S. Nationals. My son had never been to a national event, never saw a fuel car run, nothing. And so I took him, and my wife met us over there like a couple nights later. Well, they were doing time runs for fuel cars, and Hunter went down. Well, he actually was running across the street to the campground to get me beer. Well, he was getting him beer too, but he wasn't old enough, so we're not going to talk about that. But anyway, he's coming back, and Billy is sitting in a picnic table down at the bottom of the stairs. And Hunter stops and he sits down for a second because he'd been running. The guy's like, and he was like, hey, you're that guy on YouTube with the S10 that does big fat ass wheelies. And he was like, yeah. He's like, my dad watches your channel all the time. So he sat down there and talked to Billy for like 30 minutes. I'm like, where you been? He's like, I was down there talking to Billy. I'm like, Billy who? He's like, Billy from Street Race Channel with the S10. I was like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, he's down there just hanging out, shooting the shit with people. So they're just the problem is.
Go ahead.
The problem is when these channels get so big is when you start getting the weirdos coming in on you. Like, I know you've seen a couple of Bill's videos here lately where like people came to their house out of the blue, or they walk up to him about this, hey, can you help me with this sponsorship stuff and blah blah blah. And he's like, no, man, he's actually kind of an introvert. If you ask him, and he'll tell you, he's like,
I think a lot of us are.
Yeah, I'm okay talking to people because I have to deal with the general public, every day. But I really wouldn't if I'm tuning on the car and I got a timing light in my hand and I'm listening to this thing and I can't hear for shit anymore anyway. And some guy comes up and taps me on the shoulder and it's not somebody I know, I'm going to be a little pissed at him. Like, give me a minute.
Well, that's the thing. I've seen in his videos where he's in the staging lanes and he's shooting his video and somebody walks up to the window and tries to talk to him. And he just looks at him and says, hey, I'm working.
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing. That's his job now.
Yep. And that is his job.
You gotta kind of treat it like that.
That's another one. One night, the first live he ever did, I stumbled across it. I was up late one night because he stays up. He works all night. Like he's up till wee hours in the morning. He decided to do a live. It was his first live ever, and somebody was on there him-hawing, giving him shit like Billy needs to get a job. Billy needs to do this. Blah blah blah. And he's like, Billy's job is YouTube. And you should come try it someday. It's fucking hard work. He's like, that's why I'm up at 3:30 a.m. It's like, so
it's something about his videos though, the way he does his voiceovers and stuff. I really like that. I love the way
he's good at narrating, and he's a storyteller, and that's a big thing. I'm just not a good storyteller. I could probably get better at it if I had time, but I get frustrated with shit too easy. It's like, I just want to get it done, and I can show you the pictures later.
What I was thinking is, man, if I could just do that. I tried it in one video. I don't know how good it worked out, but it's like everybody says, well, just turn the camera on and just let it run. And it's like, okay, well, if I'm over there and the camera's over here where you can see, you can't hear me talk.
Right.
If I'm not holding the camera. And it's like this and that. And I tried it once. It was all right. I don't know how good. Well, it also wasn't a really good video. But
I think the biggest problem is like when you and I try and do something like that, and we put our, it takes us 2 or 3 hours to do that, and then we put it up and it gets like 4 views. You're like, fuck. It's a shot to the nuts. It's like I just wasted all that time. But if you let it go, and I'm not shitting you, I have videos that are 2 and 3 years old that just now are like, whoop, they just took off. So
I've got one.
Don't get discouraged from that shit.
I've got a video that how it says your top videos in the last 48 hours over on the side.
Yeah.
I have a video. I guarantee I could go and look at that right now. I filmed that video 2 years ago. It is always up there.
Yeah. Well,
it was a video when I was just asking people about super stock springs and comparing them to regular springs. Mm-hmm. That video has had views ever since. It gets, I could probably go click on it now and somebody watched it yesterday.
So here's my first short I ever did 2 years ago. It's got 276,000 views. It's gotten 211 views in the last 48 hours. I've gotten 452 subscribers from it. And it was the first short I ever did. And it is the top video, and it's been there. But it didn't take off until it was about a year old. So about the last year. So, like I said, you just don't ever take a video down because you don't think it's good. No. That's another thing I want to tell everybody, because you would be surprised that as time goes on, it starts getting in the mix, and I mean, you get stupid ass comments on it and all that stuff, but and don't let comments worry about it.
Stupid ass comments, and I'm like, I want stupid ass comments right now.
Well, just wait till you get to 1,000 subscribers. That's when the weirdos come out. I'm just going to let you know.
Well, the thing is, look, and I praise him for this because I love it. Look at Bondo Billy. He built the channel off of trolls.
Mm-hmm.
because he gets so many views, and the people watching those videos,
They
I
help.
guarantee he's got a few people be like, oh, okay, I'm going to try that. But most of his views are either people who want to troll him or people who want to read the comments and hear
Hmm.
him fire back
Yep.
at him, you know.
Yep. I don't.
And
I just don't enjoy. I don't enjoy engaging with idiots. I just don't. I don't. I don't have time with them. I think the problem is because I have to do that every day of my life at work, and I'm just when I get home, I'm over it. I'll just send them a little heart or a hey thanks or just some snide little shitty comment that they have to take it one way or another. You know,
I've had a couple.
I've
I
had a
think it's
few. But the bad thing is I had one time. One time the guy was like a fucking stalker because my daughter was in the background of the video and he was, he had a lot of lewd comments about my daughter. It was, I was like, this is my baby girl. I was like, I'll fucking find you.
yeah, you got to
Like
watch out for that.
it got to me, but then I learned like, okay, you know, so I tell the kids like, hey, I'm getting ready to do a video, you want me to get you out of the background or and they're like, nah, fuck it, dad. My kids, they don't care. They don't like.
Well,
They're like,
that's
dad,
like
dad's not gonna let anything happen to me, and they don't give a shit either. I mean, luckily they don't. They're not softies. They don't get their feelings hurt, because I raised my
well,
kids. So
you know Jed from Scott's Speed Shop.
hmm.
He went years before he let Anna in a video. Years, just because he didn't want to. He seen it happen so much, he didn't want to deal with it.
Yep, yep.
But
My wife
now
doesn't like my,
he's kind of like fuck it.
my wife
You know,
doesn't
he
still
wants
doesn't
to
really
help him.
want to be in. Yeah. My wife still doesn't really want to be in my videos because she's just afraid of what's going to happen. So I got to respect that.
Mm-hmm.
I put a few camping videos out years ago that she was in, and I mean, nothing really happened. And it's like I keep telling her now, I'm like, well, mainly when I'm going to do these RV repair videos, like, you're going to have to be there with me because we're going to be camping most of the time. That's how I'm going to start it. So, I mean, where's the best place to fit an RV? But when you're camping, because there's going to be 400 other campers with you, and they're going to be broke.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, that's fine. I said, but just, but she doesn't have to see. She doesn't give a shit what I do on YouTube. She really doesn't. I mean,
Yeah.
but I have to deal with it.
All right. So let's see. I think I've hit everything. Oh, except for actually talking about your car. Do
Mm,
you have any pictures of your car, like a big wide shot of your S10? I don't think I've ever seen one.
I do. Um, I don't think
I
it's.
mean, I know we didn't talk about this ahead of time, or you could have had it ready.
Well, I probably do on the computer. My screensaver is a really big picture of it. Let me see. What's funny is my screensaver of my phone is one. If I find one, how do I put it up here? I always forget.
Okay,
I go
you
to
hit
present,
present.
video file. Let me go to
Or you could
pictures.
just go to share screen if you have it on a screen. If it's a picture, just go to share screen, bring it up, and then you
Okay,
should be able to find it from there.
let me see if I can find it real quick. It literally is a twin to JB's truck, except mine's a standard cab and his a extended cab.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like JB. I like JB so
Oh,
much.
he's
I
so
love
freaking
his
awesome.
shit.
Him and Lars, man. It was funny earlier. He said, how he says, watch for the loose lug nuts or whatever it is. I said, the only two loose nuts there is JB and Lars. And he says, oh, whatever, and I said, hey, that's the best damn pair of nuts I know.
I was on his live last week, and I was talking about having you on this week, and he's
Yeah.
like, "You got Jason on there, and you haven't invited me on yet."
You're next, JB. All right, I'm looking. Sorry, I got a lot of shit on this computer. Let's see. I got some really good pictures of it. You remember when John was going to do the the calendar contest with the cars.
Yeah.
And I got some really good pictures of it. I cannot. I just clicked totally out of it. Shit.
Well, the thing is, like last No Name Nationals, I didn't even really know who you were. I don't think. I don't think many
Yeah,
people.
and a lot of us, I think a lot of us have grown closer since that one. Like that's what,
Yeah, it was
you
like
know.
there really was like little camps everywhere.
Yeah, it was like little clickies, but now we're all just like
Yeah,
we're
now
the
we're all
crew,
kind
you
of
know.
just all know
Yeah.
each other, and
And I mean that's how it goes. I mean it's like when you're in school, you know, it's like, oh, you got your little cliques, like, oh, Jimmy's a dick, and then you start talking to Jen, it's like, no, actually he's pretty cool, you know.
yeah,
Ralph's a dick. I honestly can't find it. I'm sorry, Brian. But
that's
yeah,
all right.
it's a '87 short bed standard cab S10. It's red. Um, you know, it was an automatic 4 cylinder originally, and then I drove it. I love that truck. The floorboards were rusted out so bad. I don't know if you ever watched any of my videos on it. You could, I mean, the cab was literally resting down on the transmission itself. That was
Mhm.
what was holding everything up. So I handmade floor pans. There's some videos of me making that. And I made body mounts, and then I had this 5.3 for a friend of mine's Trans Am. We were going to do it, and then he turned around and sold it back to the original owner because the original owner's dad was getting ready to pass away, and that was like their father son project, and he got rid of it because he was pissed at his dad. Well, then his dad came ill, and then he was like, "Hey, can I buy that car back?" And my buddy Chris, he's the guy that does my tattoos. He's another great guy, and he was like, "Yeah, you know what?" So I paid Chris for the motor, and I had it for years, and then I ended up guy gave me a 1963 Impala. He gave me the original 283 and the Power Glide out of it. Actually, so before the guy wanted to buy the Trans Am back is when I got the free 283 and the Power Glide, and that's when I met Barrows, and we were going back and forth. I was going to put the 283 in it and the Power Glide, and then the Power Glide or the 283 it was just all rusted up and gummed up, and just really bad, and then the Trans Am deal fell through, so I bought the motor from Chris, and I thought, well, this would be cool to have a new style engine and I really did want it to be fuel injection, but I was just having so many problems with it, and I was like, you
Yeah,
know what? Can I put a carburetor on this thing? Because I'm, I have every carburetor in the world in my shop, so and so there, yeah, and that's where it is. So it is running now. Um, I've got the shifters working, the drive shafts in it. It moves forward and backwards. It's on jack stands. I got to bleed the brakes. I think we were talking the other night. I told you the drive shafts bent where that pick apart. They must have picked it up, and I didn't realize. What's funny is I took it out and tried to check it for straightness on the back of a bedside, on the truck that I took out. I was like, oh, it doesn't look too bad. But man, when I got it running, it's just wanger, wanger, wanger. So I need to get a new tube put in it. And it had this weird input shaft that they only made in '63 that took me a year to find. I got that. So, but it's literally just needs a lot of stuff just buttoned up. I mean, if I've got a good 3 or 4 days and take that, I've got a buddy that works at a driveline shop. He's going to put a new tube in it for me. It'll be ready to go. I mean, it's not going to be the fastest thing in the world, but I mean, I'll be able to drive it, you know.
yeah.
And
That's kind of right this year. That's what I'm hoping for.
yeah, and it's licensed, it's insured, it's got historical tags on it because it's old enough to do it. Uh, Everything works as far as I know. I mean, I've had that thing totally apart and been putting it back together, so um, it doesn't have a fuel tank in it anymore. I had to put a fuel cell in it because the reason why I had to quit driving is one day it was cold, raining, and my Cummins wouldn't start, and the transfer pump went bad in it.
Mm.
So I went up in the garage, started the S10, pulled out front. This one I worked at the county. I had to be there at, before the sun came up in the morning. I go out, stalled. It was pouring down rain too that day. It was early in the winter too, but it was a weird winter. It was warm, and couldn't get to work. So I ended up calling my boss, like, "Hey, can you pick me up on the way in?" I was like, "The freaking truck won't start," and Well, lo and behold, when it got cold outside, I found out that the top of the gas tank was rusted out, and all that water was running down into the gas tank. The bed's
Oh,
all rusted out on it, so they had a bunch of gas in it. I thought the motor was bad. Actually it lost spark, so I put a distributor in it, which was hell to find a distributor for that thing, and I never could get it running. So I was just like, finally, after the snow quit flying, it was March of that would have been March of 22. We Hunter and I pulled the drive line out of it and started, fabbing everything up for this thing. So
all right. Well, I usually go an hour. We go an hour and a half. It's
yeah,
cool. We're talking.
hell
Uh,
yeah.
Let me hit you with my questions. I don't know if you've watched any of these. I do like one kind of discussion question that I hit you with some rapid fire ones. I've
Yeah.
changed up my discussion question today.
Okay.
Okay, here's here's the question. How bad does a car have to be before you just say no on a project? Like what is your that's bad, I'm not messing with it.
Honestly, it really depends on what kind of car it is. Like if it's a really, and I can't even answer. I was going to say if it's a real valuable car, but I could really give a shit about it. I think it's how much it is worth to me. Like, if
Yeah.
do I really want this car? If I want a, you know, I want a '65 Mustang and I can't afford one, but I can go buy this one that's just rusted to pieces. But I know I can buy every part to rebuild it. I'll rebuild it. But I think if it's a Honda Accord and the front subframe's rusted out on it, I'm done with it. I just
Okay.
and no offense to anybody or any make or any brand, I just think it's if it was a '67 GTO, I'd want it. If it was some old Packard, I'd want it. I mean, this old S10, I made floorboards for it out of sheet metal. I mean, I totally fabricated it because I wanted that truck. I've always wanted one, and I never had one. So I think I don't know, it's a kind of a loaded question, but yeah,
Okay.
I just, it's in my mind is how bad is bad is, well, how hard do I want to work on it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I could say something to that because if you want a '65 Mustang, they made that surgery a lot easier to get. All
Anyway,
right. Here we
you know
go.
what I mean.
Rapid fire questions. Big block or small block?
Small block.
Small block. Um,
I've
NA
actually never,
or
NA.
NA?
And I've never owned a big block car, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Quarter mile or eighth mile?
H-mile.
Prep or no prep?
Prep.
Okay, and here we go. Here's the big one: EFI or carburetor?
Carburetor.
All right.
Those are good questions. I like that.
Yeah. I actually just came up with those. So I had to come up with some new ones because most of the people I've had on here have been Mopar guys,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, I know Mopar questions I ask. That's kind of where the main question kind of comes through too, because like there's people with Mopars, if the frame rail's got a spot of rust on them, no, they're done. I ain't messing with it.
See, if
But
I want a Mopar, and I'm sure whatever one I find that I can afford is going to be messed up, and I'm going to fix it. Because I
that's
want one.
gotta
You
do
know.
shit. I buy messed
Yeah.
up shit because that's what I
Yeah.
can.
The only Mopars I've ever owned are pickup trucks, and I've loved every one of them. My son had a Dakota that he drove in high school. That was my favorite truck ever, a '96 Dakota with a 3.9. I beat the living snot out of that truck. I loaded it up with shit I shouldn't have, and that was a great truck. And then now I've got, my big Dodge, and I'm like, I love this truck. Everybody hates them, but I'm like, they're like, what are you gonna do when it rusts out? Well, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking fix it, because it's a
Everything
great
rusts
truck.
out.
Especially where I live. I live in the Rust Belt, dude. You know.
Anything in the 2000s and they're
hmm
rusted. You
Yep.
know, You can't even. I mean, yeah, Chrysler had a stint there where everything was rusting out, like the Aspens, the Dodge Aspen. Those
Yep.
rusted sitting on the fucking showroom floor. But
Yep. Yeah. I mean, like I said, everything rusts. Like I said, it just depends on how bad I want it, you know.
yeah,
And then if I know it's something that and like I said, I really don't care if it's something that anybody else wants. It's mainly just if I want it, you know, and if I think it's cool, you know. I mean, it could be a Gremlin or a Pinto or a,
I want a
you know,
Gremlin.
I really don't care, you know. I just but you can ask my wife. My wife, she says every time you've ever brought a car home, it can be the biggest pile of crap. She says, but you got a gleam in your eye because you love cars. She's like, I know you're going to fix it. You know, you might not keep it, but I know you're going to fix that car because you really enjoy it. And then she's like, but I have seen you bring cars home, and you're just like, you know, and you're like, fuck this car. I'm not messing with it no more. You know,
Yeah, yeah. I've
like
been there.
we've got a Chevy Cruze that I bought for my kids, and my two daughters both drove it to college, and it's worn out now. And everybody's like, well, why don't you fix it? Why don't you fix it? I was like, I hate that car. I don't like that car. It's a piece of shit. I just don't
That's
like
why you know what? And
it.
it's kind of sad, but that's the way I am with my with my '03 Dodge truck.
Yeah, it's
I've got an '03 Dodge with the 3.9 in it, and it's got 280,000 miles, and I'm or 380,000 miles. No,
hell yeah.
280,000 miles, and I'm like, yeah, it gets me to work every day, but goddamn, I wish I just had a Dakota. If I just had a 318 Dakota, I'd be a lot happier.
Yeah.
And I just, ugh,
Dakotas are cool. I like the square body ones. They
yeah,
you know, I really do like those. I've had a lot of Rangers. I've had one Dakota. I've had one S10. This is the only S10 I've ever owned in my life, believe it or not. And but I'm not really partial to brands. I really am not. Like you know, I like them all. I have my favorites of them all, but you know,
mhm,
I like them all. You know, I don't know I don't know the whole A body, B body, C body, you know, all the Chrysler stuff you guys get in. They're like, oh, we could put this rear end in it. No, no, no. You know, I was like, hey, I want to put this rear end in this car. Will it fit? I have to ask you guys, you know, because I really don't know. I mean, I could probably make it fit if I wanted to,
yeah, we can make
but
anything fit. But
now, yeah, but yeah, like you know, the Ford stuff and the GM stuff, I think it's the area that I live in also because this was a big GM town. You know, I actually worked there. We had a
well,
truck.
you know what though? I've seen a lot. I used to look like on Craigslist and stuff like that, and I always Ohio was where all the Mopars were at. I was like, man,
When I
there's
was
a
a
lot
kid,
of Ohio.
when I was a kid, well, the Mopar Nationals is this weekend in Columbus. You know, the
Yeah,
big meet.
I'm gonna
Um,
go to that here.
it's fun. Well, when you go, let me know because I'll meet you up there because I haven't been. They had it. It's funny. They had it at Columbus for a long time. We used to go every year, and then they started having it over to Indy, and we went, and then now it's moved back to Columbus. I mean, which it's not like it's an hour to Columbus, it's 2 hours to Indy. It's not that big a deal for me, you know.
Yeah,
But yeah, if you guys go, let me know. I want to go to Carlisle when everybody goes too. I think that would be bitching, you
I've
know.
never been to that. That's another one I'd like to go
I haven't
check
been
out.
either, and that's usually the around my birthday. Well, it's actually around Rob and I's birthday, so yeah. But but yeah, all in all, I think this community is growing at a rapid rate. We got a lot of
It's
good guys.
I,
We don't have it, the dickheads weed themselves out
yeah,
automatically, which is kind of cool. You know, it's like we don't even have to do anything; they just weed their own self out. So you know, it's kind of neat that it's fell into place. And
yeah. There you
I
go, John
never,
Woodley says Carlisle next year. I'm down. So by
yeah,
next year, you got to find a Mopar.
I got a Dodge truck. I'll just drive my truck out there. I mean, hell,
No, no,
John
no. You
drives
got
the
to find a
old.
Mopar project.
All right, all right. Can
Start
I do
hitting
a
the
Dakota
swap
with
meet.
a V8 in it or something? Is that cool or not?
Well, I don't know. You
Not
won't
cool?
find much at swap meets for them.
Well, yeah, that's true.
But that's the whole thing. That's what I was going to build. I had a 440 I was getting ready. I was going to do a big block Dakota. That was going to be my build.
That
was going to be
that
the
would
race.
have been bitching. That would have been really bitching.
I still want to do one,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that would be awesome.
But Dennis and
I want to do a
and my
slant
friend
six
Tom.
Dakota.
I was
Try to make it
sitting
fit.
there. Yeah, it fit.
Yeah.
Way longer.
I do a little cutting. It'd be all right.
Okay, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of heat for this. I do not like slant sixes. I don't
understand
see
that.
why people. I don't see why people are trying to make that motor do what it's not supposed to do.
It's
You
an
know what I mean?
industrial engine. That's all it's supposed
If
to
you
do.
want to get back and forth to work, a slant six is awesome.
Yeah.
But if
I think
you
they
wanna
just.
go-
I think they're just.
it's
I think
so
they
much
just want to be.
easier just to go buy a V8 and drop
I
it
think
in
they
there.
just wanna be-
Too.
They just want to be different, Brian. That's all there is to it.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what I like.
sometimes being different is, I don't know. Because Shane Slant Daily Garage. Yeah, I love the guy.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, every time he says something about next No Name Nationals, I'm bringing out Plan Z. I'm like, oh, you're gonna have the slowest car there. You can't even. You won't even be able to enter the
Well,
burnout.
now, in Shane's defense, I think he can build shit better than the
Than most
previous
people,
owner.
yes. But still, even with all of his knowledge, he is one of the smartest people, especially on Mopars that I have found. He's still gonna have the slowest car there. It's like,
Hey, but it's cool.
so you're gonna go
Yeah.
from having one of the fastest this year to having the slowest next year. You know what? You know what that means, though? That means next year I'm calling his ass out.
That's right. That's right. Damn
So
right.
we're gonna heads up grudge race. Let's go.
Let's let her rip. Yep. I heard that.
Oh shit! All right. Well, I guess we're gonna jump off here. I'm gonna end this.
All
And
right, brother.
give me 15.
Everybody, thanks for stopping
I'm gonna
by.
start the other live up. If you want to jump in the other live and hang out, if you got time, cool. If not, I understand.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Jason, for coming out and doing this and putting up with my crap. Thanks,
Man,
everybody,
thanks for
for
having me.
coming out to watch. These things are getting a little bit better. I'm trying to get a little bit better doing the interview stuff. The
You did a
sad thing
fine
is I'm
job.
going to run out of people. So
You're gonna run out of people.
I may have to at some point take a hiatus from it and then start back over again. But that's all right.
We'll get him a list of fresh people. Don't worry about it.
Well, there's not that many people that like me. Is the thing, you know?
Why
There's not
don't
that many
people like you?
I'm a dick.
You're not a dick. I'm
You
a dick.
You haven't yet. I call people's cars girls' cars and shit, and I don't care. And obviously, they don't care either.
It doesn't bother me. That's been a joke for eons. When I say a secretary car or something, and when I reply to that,
Oh man, there was a guy put up on Facebook. This Mustang group popped up, and somebody put up this thing. You've seen it where they have all the different cars from like 1970, and the Mustang was the first one. And somebody put on the Mustang was on top. And what was I? I was going to say something.
I can only imagine.
No, it was a Boss. It was Boss.
Oh,
it was,
Boss, yeah.
It was like Boss to the top, and I wanted to do hashtag Boss Girl so fucking bad.
Of course.
I didn't do it.
Of course the boss was on top of the secretary.
But I wanted to just put in Boss Girl so fucking bad, but I was like, no, I won't.
Oh, you would have heard all kinds of butts.
Yeah.
But anyway.
If I was going to do that, though, I would have switched over to the Dust Devil channel and did that. So maybe I can jump over and bitch on my videos.
But I got you some
we're going to jump off here, guys.
All
I'll
right.
see y'all later.